Hey everyone, this video is about the Casio FC-200 financial consultant calculator that was on the market from 1987 to 1992. As far as I can tell, the FC-200, along with its sister calculator, the FC-100, were the first financial calculators Casio released, and the evolutions, the FC-200V and FC-100V, are still sold today. And physically, the FC-200 shared a lot of characteristics with other Casio calculators from the late 80s. So it's only 87 grams in weight and has a physical on-off switch on its left side and a physical contrast wheel on its right. It has a 12-digit dot matrix display that can display digits, capitalized letters, and other symbols. And the keyboard has the typical Casio small plastic keys with a springy action. The FC-200 has 10 modes, and they're described in the table underneath the display. And these can be switched between using the mode key followed by a digit. This is probably one thing about this generation of Casio calculators I feel is a weakness, since they does tend to limit how its features can be used together, and they can be complicated to understand. And the modes are grouped into sets. So modes 1, 2, and 3 set whether you're running, writing, or controlling programs. By default, run mode is enabled. Modes 4, 5, and 6 control whether you're doing finance, linear regression, or standard deviation calculations. And by default, finance is enabled. And mode 7 sets the number of decimal places displayed and so forth. So for example, to set the number of decimal places, we can hit mode 7 followed by a digit. And usually if you're going to do financial calculations, you'd pick 4 or 2, so we'll set 2 now. Run mode 1 and finance mode 4 enabled, we can demonstrate some basic capabilities. And the FC-200 is an algebraic calculator, and if I type in 2 plus 3 times 4, you can see that the whole equation is displayed. We can hit execute to see the result. And this calculator has an 8-level result stack and logic to apply order of operations to equations. If I hit the back arrow, I can go back and edit that previous equation, which is a great feature. I can also type in a longer equation, and the equation editor will scroll as needed. And like other Casio calculators, the FC-200 also has an answer key, which allows previous answers to be referred to in new equations, which is really nice. And there are basic powers, log, and factorial operations that can be used in equations. And the FC-200 allows storing of values into 26 variables, each denoted by a single letter. So to save this value into, say, the x variable, I would hit store, and then alpha, and then x, and execute. And now I can use that variable in a new equation. And you can also do continued calculations involving the last result by just typing an arithmetic operand. And on this calculator, you can enter dates with the date key. So say to enter the current date, November 22nd, 2020, I'd hit 11, date 20, date 2020, and then the date key and execute. And then once that's entered, I can assign that to a variable or do arithmetic on it. So say to find out the day in 90 days, I just go plus 90 and execute. And so I think the way this calculator operates is great for a single-lined algebraic calculator. It's interesting to compare equation entry on the Casio to two other advanced financial calculators of the time, the Texas Instruments BI2+ and the HP17B2. So I'll enter 2 plus 3 times 4 and equals on each of these. And you can see that they both operated in chain mode, where terms were evaluated as they typed, and the order of arithmetic operations was ignored. And there was no way to edit your last input on either of these two models. So I think that for basic usage, the FC-200 was quite advanced for its time. So the FC-200 supported the usual range of financial operations. There's time value of money and cash flow calculations. You can amortize payments into principal and interest amounts and convert between nominal and effective interest rates. It also supports cost, selling price and margin calculations. And I'll show a simple time value of money calculation to demonstrate how this works. So say we had $1,000 per month to spend on a 30-year mortgage, and we wanted to find out our borrowing power for a fixed 2.5% interest rate. So we'd enter 30 years times 12 months into N, our number of periods. And then we'd take our interest rate and divide by 12 months and set I. And then we'd enter minus $1,000 into our periodic payments. And we'd like our future value to be 0. So now that those are entered, to find out our borrowing power, we'd hit comp and then present value and then execute. And the FC-200 supports the same tokenized programming language as the FX7000G graphing calculator, which I have another video on. So as an example, say we had a pricing formula that calculated the monthly price for a subscription-based product with a volume-based discount. So say our base license is $60 per month, but we give a 20% discount for volumes over 100. Then our program might look like the following. The first line takes an input for N, the number of licenses, and then there are two if statements that calculate the total monthly price for the two scenarios. And to edit this program, you go into mode 2 and pick your program space. And I can use the arrow keys to scroll through the code. Now to run it, you can switch back to mode 1 and hit program and then 0 for the space the program resides and then execute. And now I can enter some numbers in for N and see the monthly price. And I really like this tokenized programming language. It's very compact since it doesn't have any keywords. And it's a bit more user-friendly than keystroke programming on an HP or TI calculator. So in summary, I think Casio really nailed the FC-200 in 1987. The combination of the power of its equation editor, its tokenized programming, and the financial calculations, in my mind, makes it one of the best financial calculators ever released. The current model, the 200V, is a little different. It has a 4-line display, supports some more financial operations, but it's not programmable. And I think it's hard to compete with Casio's late 80s calculators in terms of aesthetics. I think the FC-200 is quite beautiful and really elegant from a functionality point of view. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful.